everybody, this is Kohdok here, and it's my birthday today, and for my birthday, Mattel has sent me their rendition of Turning Mecard, in this case titled Mecard.
Go! Mecard, Mecard, only you decide how you will change the world.
I admit it caught me a little off guard that Mattel would be doing the American release of Mecard, as I thought if anybody would do it, it would be Hasbro. Still, I am very surprised with how well Mattel seems to have pulled this off. Now, I've already gone on at length about the original Korean series and why I think it's so good, link in the description below, so I'm just going to be going straight into what they changed in the English dub. Mattel has released the dub for Mecard in the form of half episodes on their repurposed Battle Claw channel, which is now called Mattel Action. Speaking of Battle Claw, what was the deal with that non-ending anyway? Going back to it, the changes in the dub are all fairly simple. Mecanimals are now called Mecardimals, Yvonne and Ryan's names have been anglicized to Evan and Ryan, and Chan's name has been changed to Jason. Now, I know some people take issue with when an adaptation changes the name of a major character, but come on, if they'd left his name as Chan, we would have had people going, "Oh, you mean like Jackie Chan? Or Hitmonchan? Or Miku-chan, or Maru-chan noodles, those are delicious." As for the three battling regions, while Red Hall's name was left alone, Blue Land was changed to Blue City, which, okay, and Black Mirror is now Black Reef. But why? Black Mirror is such a cool name, why would they— oh! Trademark. Aside from that, the dub work is all pretty solid for our major characters, though all of the robots sound like Tom from Toonami.
Where are you, Thanatos? I know you're here somewhere. I love this job.
Oh, you're waiting for me to say that's a bad thing. All in all, it seems to be getting a strong response, which is a good thing. It is a fantastic show that walks that thin line of being serious without being dark. If you haven't watched it yet, I'm not going to spoil the meaning of that, but the 8 half episodes that are up right now represent what makes the show so good. I also find one of its other themes, that being the reconciliation between two equally valid but directly opposing viewpoints, to be especially relevant to my country right now, and honestly, a show like this couldn't have come at a better time. Moving on, let's take a look at what Mattel has sent me to go over. In this lovely little box, I was sent a very fancy set of two Mecardimals, Wingtalk and Mirane. Sadly no Taro, but these two are still pretty high on my faves list. And now that I think about it, they're both girls. Huh. Let's start with Mirane, since it shares the same Taro chassis as Phoenix. This gives us a chance to compare the two and see what sets the two releases apart. The external changes for the most part seem to be very minor. Mirane is just as well painted as its Korean counterparts on the outside, with solid window, light, and striping details that are clean and free of flaws. One noticeable difference is that the wheels on the American Mirane are slightly larger than the Korean Phoenix's, but they still have those nice bearings that let it roll well. I would expect nothing less from the makers of Hot Wheels. However, one thing that did get a major change was how the Mecardimal opens up. In the Sonokong version, the magnet that grabs the card is attached directly to the opening mechanism, whereas in the Mattel version, the magnet is instead embedded into the front of the car, and the Mecardimal is instead opened by a latch placed behind the magnet, which gets activated when the magnet pulls the card into it. Both systems are equally reliable, and the Mattel version has the added bonus of being able to transform it without needing a card just by pushing the lever. And speaking of transforming, let's have a look at that. Mirane, as you can see, is a sort of unicorn Pegasus, which in the show is used by Isabelle as her second stringer, though my version is owned by Black Reef. The detailing is, again, superb. Mirane is a lot less complex than Phoenix, but all of the paint appliques are great and the molding is very clean. Wingtalk uses a different sort of chassis and resembles a fancier sports car complete with rounded sides and a pair of fins on the side. She is quite a bit huskier than Mirane and Phoenix, and her transformation is no less impressive, unfurling into by far the largest Mecardimal I've gotten so far. She is a bit unique in that most of her body is what is flipped over during transformation rather than just the tail or the back of the head. Wingtalk as well has a very striking color scheme, being blue with orange, white, and yellow accents. She's even in her canonical Blue City alignment to boot. And again, all the appliques are spot on, and if you were worried from Mirane's look that the Mecardimals had lost any complexity, then Wingtalk should put those fears at ease. A quick note before we move on, Wingtalk is a little unintuitive to transform back, as there's a flap on her back that you have to tuck in before you can fold her back up. So now that we've taken a look at the Mecardimals I got in this set, we can finally do something that I didn't have the chance to do in my video about the Korean version, talk about the game. To play a game of Mecard, you need between 1 and 3 Mecardimals and 3 cards, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. These cards get arranged from a centered location, starting from the leading corner of 2 cards with the rest played to the right. Your Mechanimals go about 6 inches below your own cards at their starting line. Players take their turns at the same time, picking a Mecardimal and rolling them towards their own cards. Any Mecardimal that fails to grab a card automatically loses, with a do-over happening if both cards miss. If both cards grab a card and transform, then we have a battle on our hands. Now, the cards are where the biggest changes happen in the Mattel version, with Mattel trying to add some additional depth beyond just who has the highest number. In the case of both Mattel and Sonokong, the power of your Mecardimal is determined not by a printed power on the figure, like it is with Bakugan, but instead by the color of their symbol. Find the matching color on the card to determine your base power. Higher number wins. I love this system. Unlike with Bakugan, where the newer sets were constantly outpacing the old ones due to power creep, in this case, you don't really have the figures getting obsolete and you can bring your favorites into battle every time. Now, something interesting that Mattel has done is that there are 2 sets of printed powers, 1 on each edge, and this actually serves an interesting purpose. In the Mattel game, when a Mecardimal transforms, the numbers that are facing you are the ones that you use to determine your Mecardimal's power. Yes, the power of your Mecardimal is dependent on which direction it flips open, whether vertically on the X-axis like all of the Taro chassis Mecardimals, or horizontally on the Y-axis like Alta or the Ural chassis Mecardimals. This adds some memory and strategy to the game beyond numbers, and I love how the mechanics of the toy have been integrated into the game like this. Another thing the Mattel cards have are some special symbols on the side of them. These are the special abilities of the card and trigger after battle. Whether you win or lose, you get to use the effect on the right after battle is over, and these abilities allow you to affect the remaining cards on the field. You can peek, rotate, or move a number of cards depending on the symbol. You can also use the ability in the black box on the left if your Mecardimal matches the one on the card, like if Wingtalk picks up a Wingtalk card. After battle, the winner places their card next to their current line of Mecardimals. The back edge of this card is their new starting line, and they must now roll that much further each round. The loser returns their card to play, and both move their open Mecardimals to their used zone, returning all Mecardimals to their starting line if they have none to use at the start of the round. Whoever captures 3 cards wins the match. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of familiar. Mecard obviously took a lot of inspiration from Bakugan, though from what I can tell, a lot of the same people that worked on Bakugan also worked on Mecard, and I have to admit, though, that the Mattel version does kind of shift it 2 steps closer with the gold, silver, and bronze cards and the use of the 3-in 3-out system for the transforming characters. Still, the changes such as the card's power changing depending on how it gets flipped and the ability to mess with your opponent's cards gives it an interesting new wrinkle. Not to mention, we haven't seen Bakugan in the United States for 7 years. Yeah, I need my fix, man. I also got a good look at some of the other products at Toy Fair. Along with the full line of Mecardimals from the Sonokong series, they also have some larger ones based on semi-trucks and, of course, one of the transformation ramps. Though I admit I am a little surprised that Mattel, the master of Hot Wheels, didn't make any sort of track set for them, nor do they seem poised to put out the non-transforming variants in their Hot Wheels line. Maybe those will come with time if Mecard manages to catch on, which I really hope it does. It's the sort of series that I think Bakugan fans have been wanting for a while, and as long as Spin Master keeps sitting on their hands, has a good chance to make a splash. Thanks again for watching. These sorts of toys are my bread and butter, and you can bet that anything Mecard that I get my hands on will get the full video treatment, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to join my notification squad, and also consider supporting me on Patreon, which will help give me the funds to grab more of these things off the rack to review them. So, that is a look at Mattel's version of Turning Mecard, and until next time, this is Kohdok signing off.
도깨비단의 메카드 배틀 강자! 배틀을 하려면 메카니멀을 친구로 만들어야 해. 테이밍이라고 하지. 배지 메카드를 메카니멀에 대고 테이밍 온이라고 외쳐봐. 테이밍 온! 메카니멀을 얻었으니 이제 배틀을 할 수 있어. 메카드를 3장 던져봐. 그걸 셋업이라고 해. 셋업 메카드! 이제 메카니멀을 던져. 메카니멀 고!